3, 2, 1, and go. Right. Thank you. So, yep, hello everyone, this is Fable Lost Chapters Any Percent. The first thing you'll notice here is that I'm rolling everywhere just because it's a whole bunch faster than running. And as we level our speed stat throughout the game and combine it with a bunch of other movement techniques, this will be a lot faster. So the first thing we're going to do is get 3 gold pieces for our sister to get some chocolates for her birthday. We can either do good deeds or bad deeds, so we just beat up a bully and got a teddy bear, which is a good deed. We'll give her that teddy bear, which is another good deed, and then we'll take a bribe for someone who's cheating on his wife, which is a bad deed, of course. And when you do a bad deed, the guards will chase you, so hopefully we can avoid them. It's only a few seconds if it's time loss, but it can be annoying. Right, so we got our gold. So we just took the bribe and off we go back down to get our chocolates from a guy who has an absolutely lovely moustache. Cool. So the guards are just coming up here, so this guy seems to be in a good position. But he is trying to chase me. This guy up might get me. No, we'll be good. And here's our sister.
Hello, little brother. Come.
Cool.
Wait.
So this cutscene's going to start. Normally you'd roll up the hill, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to save the game. And then load it again. And what this is going to do is this is going to skip me having to roll up. Oh, and the game crashed. Nice. That was quick. That's almost record time. 1 minute. Yeah, I was just about to say if the game crashes you have to start over, but I might as well just start over. Actually, what I can do, I can load the safety save, which puts me back before. So disregard that, and the resolution's wrong. 1 sec. That's almost record time for the game crashing. Like, the only time the game has crashed even earlier is like 10 seconds before. We do call this game Stable Fable for a reason, so take that for what you will. Let's change this. Perfect, it's like nothing even happened. Moving on. So we're in the guild now because our thingy burned down, our village burned down, and they're going to take us in and turn us into a hero. There was Whisper there, we don't like her. There's a guildmaster who we do like. We used to kill him, but now we don't anymore, so that's good. So just going to start off by hitting this dummy. He's just going to basically train us on how to be a hero, and he's going to give us a stick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Now that's more like.
I'm going to collect the XP orb, and then he's going to give us a little mini quest to fight some beetles. So we have to kill 10 beetles, and that's easier said than done because these beetles like to fly around and do a whole bunch of stuff and ruin the targeting system, and it's terrible. This is usually the first big reset point of the game. So you generally want to sort of keep them as close together as possible. So like here I can kill 2 in 1 hit, which is good. Almost got a 3 in 1 hit there. And there we go.
Use your stick. Well done, lad. The beetles are all dead.
So the guildmaster says the beetles are all dead, but that's not true because clearly Ringo and Paul are still alive, so unless you believe that whole Paul is dead thing. So we're going to become an apprentice now, so we're slightly older, slightly wiser, all that. I'm going to punch Whisper. That's actually, as well as being good stress relief, that's also set up for a trick later that saves like a minute, so it's fun and fast. Just going up here.
You can put that old.
So we're going to do a little mini fight against Whisper, so we're going to have to hit her 7 times with our melee weapon, block her a few times, and then just beat her in a fight. It's pretty simple stuff, it's just basically based on how Whisper decides to play with you. Because she can like jump around and ruin your day, and it's terrible.
Well done.
But she seems to be playing nice here. Easy.
That's all wrong, Whisper. Then meet me by the archery range to Let's continue our training.
Right, so we're going to hit these 3 dummies with our bow, and then the guildmaster's going to test and say, see how many you can hit in a minute. But right now the guild has a 4 strikes rule, so if you hit any friendly people 4 times, then you get a warning. But then that also just lets you skip it. He's just like, hey, what are you doing? But then just lets you skip it, so it's all fine.
It's time to look.
And then we're going to just do the same here with lightning, so we're going to zap, and then hit the guildmaster 4 times. Sorry, he doesn't seem to mind. He doesn't hold it against you. Good lad.
Very good, lad. Before you graduate.
Right, so this is the last part of the guild training, and we're gonna be up fighting against Maze. This is not the last time we'll fight up against Maze. He's absolutely not a traitor, but we just need to hit him 7 times with our bow, sword, and lightning. And it's just basically based on how he teleports. That is pretty good. Oh, but I screwed it up. 4, 5,
A good strike.
7.
A good strike. That's enough.
Cool, so we're going to leave the guild. We're going to get our first upgrade as well, but we're also going to do a glitch that was found very recently called the hotshot glitch, which is going to let us buy an upgrade twice, so we're going to basically get double the upgrade.
First, you must select the
So we're going to go
now
here,
choose notice your experience.
we're going to undo, and then we're going to spam,
You will only
and I got it first try,
There's
nice.
little else.
So I basically bought Assassin's Rush, which is like a spell that just rushes you forward, but I bought 2 levels of it for the same price as 2 lots of the first level, so I'm just going to go super fast for the first part of the game, which is nice. So we're doing our first part, of the, first main quest, which is the Wasp Queen. It's very straightforward. You're literally just fighting wasps, and then fighting a very big wasp by hitting them with your bow and sword. And it's basically one of the last times we use our bow as an actual primary form of damage in the whole game. There's like one other bit in one quest, and that's it. So yeah, kill this wasp, kill this other one, and then just let the others come towards me. Cool, so the Wasp Queen will be showing up now.
Strike down the wasps.
Hit him with our bow.
Your bow may prove useful against
Finish him off. Also, every boss in this game, or most bosses in this game, have like a health threshold where when they hit it, they'll like do something like do an animation, spawn more enemies or something. So that means that even if you was to do like 1,000,000 damage to them, you wouldn't actually kill them there. So sometimes you just have to wait for them to do their thing for a little bit. So we're heading into Balstone, which is the first town in this game, and I would say my normal thing here is slightly ruined by the fact that we didn't Brexit a few days ago, because I'm going to make some joke about a scuffed Brexit economy, which is essentially what's going to happen. We're going to buy an item in bulk, and then we're going to sell the item back for more than we originally paid for it, making a whole bunch of profit, because the traders will have an item, and they're like, oh, I've got a bunch, I'll sell it to you for really cheap, and then they suddenly have none of that item, so it's like, oh, I'll pay a lot for it. So we'll see that in stunning action here. So we're going to get a little bit of gold initially. Then we're going to buy all the apple pies and all the grain sacks. And then we're going to sell it back, and we've just made 3,000 gold. Just like that. So we're going to use that to buy potions and a spade, and then a new bow for later. Here's Maze again.
Been enjoying all the
So go sell that old bow just to de-equip it and buy the new one. And then grab a slot here. Then we're just going to head up into this house and get this Ages of Might potion, which basically, when you use it, increases your strength XP times by your combat multiplier, which is essentially just a combo meter. So the more things you hit, the higher it goes up. If you get hit, it will go down, or if you just wait it out, it will go down. So our goal is to use it with as high multiplier as possible. So we're going to head over to Orchard Farm and use our newfangled Assassin's Rush. This next map though, we can't actually really Assassin's Rush much because if there's an enemy nearby, you'll rush towards it because like one of the features is that you can zip behind stuff with it. However, the main enemy in this map is Wasps, and Wasps are incredibly fast, so you can't actually Assassin's Rush, otherwise you'll just rush backwards. If I show you, I press that, I just go backwards, so it's actually better off just to roll through. And because they're so fast, you can't even like lose their tail or anything really, unless you're really lucky or they don't aggro onto you, both of which are pretty rare. So hopefully the wasps won't follow us here, but it looks like they will. Oh no. Yeah, it's RNG about whether the wasps actually follow you there. They can aggro onto the traders or they can aggro onto you during your day here, but it seems to be okay. So this is Orchard Farm and we're just going to kill 3 waves of 3 bandits. It's very straightforward. And that 6 in the corner is our combat multiplier. And we're going to just zap our guard friends here just to have it go up a bit and stop it dropping. Just in between the bandit waves.
Look out! More bandits!
Of course, that's the last bandit done here, and these guards have done their job, so they're going to go to sleep now. It's mostly for the XP, but also it's pretty funny.
So, go on.
Also, Whisper's here
Try to
again.
hit
We
me
still
with
don't like her.
the So you can do it. I'm still.
And we just barely didn't get 12 multiply, but that's okay, because the XP we got earlier will make up for it.
You have reached unsung state.
So rather than going straight back to the guild to pick up our next quest, we're actually going to go forward a few areas, because there's certain maps in the game which have like teleport spots called color skates. And it just so happens that like a few maps onwards is the color skate we need to get to. So it makes more sense to go here before, mark that spot, and then just come back to it. It just saves a lot of backtracking. In this map we have a bunch of bandits and they want us to pay a toll, but we can just aggro the first guy just by giving him a nice little love zap, and then everyone wants to kill me. But it means it skips some dialogue. Right, so back to the guild we go. And what we're mostly going to be doing is getting a few new spells and some strength upgrades, because we'll be using a certain sword a lot in a little bit. So we go here.
Physique allows you to do more damage. Speed makes you quicker in both ranged and melee combat.
That.
Magic power increases your capacity for storing mana.
feel like I've missed something out. Nah, that's probably okay. Right, so we're going to take actually a short detour here into the Chamber of Fate, and if you've seen a run before, you'll know what's going on, but for those who haven't, this is just a map which just holds all your past achievements. There's absolutely nothing else in it. I definitely don't have summon for any other reason, so if I position myself just about here, and oh hey, there's a sword in the ground. Oh hey, it's pretty powerful. Yeah, so this is the Sword of Ends which you are normally meant to get at the end of the game, and it's just hiding under the floor for the whole game. So if you position your summon correctly, it will you can just clip into the floor and get it. And then I need my summon to change to something else, because essentially we don't actually use summon to actually help us out. We essentially just using it as a portable hitbox, so that we can clip through with Assassin's Rush, because obviously where you can zip behind stuff, it basically just ignores that wall and says, oh hey, here's an enemy or an ally, let's just zip through it. But we did need a slightly larger hitbox, which is why we let our summon creature kill that bandit. So yeah, we have a super broken, super powerful sword way earlier than we supposed to, and we're going to basically use it throughout the majority of the game. I'd say the first sort of 70-80% of the game.
Thank you, hero. I'm very grateful.
So this quest we're just escorting these traders through Darkwood to get them safely to the other side, but our hero has a very skewed perspective of how to escort traders, so we've taken on a guy who's infected and going to turn into a werewolf, like that thing that just jumped up, and then we're going to kill 2 of them, all for the sake of saving time. And we don't actually need to worry about keeping an eye on their health or anything, because for the most part, enemies that spawn, they'll chase us rather than the traders, and the traders will be like far behind, so they never even get aggroed onto them. And that map there was the only one where any of them can take damage. So we're going to kill these guys and just skip some dialogue. The game really only minds that 1 trader is alive. Like, as long as 1 trader is alive, the quest is complete, so we don't actually need to worry about making sure they're all safe. We just need to wait for him to turn around there. Also, this spell I'm using now that makes me red and angry, this is Berserk, and it's insanely broken, so it increases our attacking and rolling speed, which is super handy for movement. It increases our attacks damage by a whole bunch. You can't die while in it, and it also knocks enemies down, so it's super handy for like everything. And there's another feature of it that I will demonstrate later. Ouch. Wow, that guy is really rude. Just waiting for the trader to come back. Should be following, yeah. So because the game crashed earlier, I'm going to have to do a little bit of a backup strat here, but it's okay, doesn't cost too much time.
Maze seeks an audience with you again.
So I am going to go here,
It seems
and
rather urgent.
if the game wills it. Hello? Hello? Do you want to dig? Thank you. This is probably the most awkward digging spot in the game, but we get this golden carrot which we are going to eat, and it changes the time of day to daytime. And that's important for the traders' inventories, because it changed day to day. So on this first day they have a really good inventory, so it means that we can do our nice little buying and selling glitch, similar to how we did before, but to get even more gold. So we're at 3,000 to start with, just for perspective, and we're now at 14k. It's only going to go up. and we're now at 46,000, which is basically enough gold for the whole rest of the game, apart from like one instance. So 3,000 to 46,000 is a pretty good deal. So this next map here, you're not actually, normally this is as far as you can go but without taking the quest, but you can enter this map early if we use our summoned, if it's positioned correctly. Going here, summon, and just click through the gate. So we're going to be in this map early, which means there's not going to be any enemies. Normally you're meant to go through here and pick up all the pieces of bandit gear to disguise yourself, but we don't need to do that either, because we can just click through the next gate. Just going to quickly free up some slots in our hotbar. So back to guild, and we're going to get the quest that we actually technically, so we're going to actually start the quest halfway through. So it never technically starts, so it means if we go back to the initial area, the game will try and start it and it'll freak out and then it will freeze in the next area, but luckily we don't need to worry about that, we won't be going there again. It would only really matter for something like 100%. So, if I position myself here, do this, and first try, nice. So we're just taking a few short detours here just to get some Ages of Will, Might and skill potions to increase our XP for later.
You've got to have a pass to get in here.
Hello? This guy does not want to clip. There we go. Cool, so got that clip. My movement's not as good as it should be, but it's okay. I hope nobody can notice. So here is Twinblade, and his sort of gimmick is that he can only be damaged in the back, and when he jams his sword into the ground, so I'm going to buy some time here, because he's basically just on a timer. So the other feature of Berserk, as well as not being able to die, the more damage you take, the more damage you deal. So you can just sort of stand there and tank a bunch of hits, and then it will increase the damage you do by a whole bunch. And carefully. It's actually probably good that I knocked that bandit down, because you can actually get hit in that cutscene, and because you're at 10 health, they can just kill you in that cutscene. It's really bad, but luckily that didn't happen. Oh, and by the way, for a perspective on how much damage we're doing now, when we was fighting Whisper before with our bow, we was doing about 200 a hit. It was taking about 2 seconds, and we did about 2,000 in that 1 or 2 hits. So, pretty big increase. Pretty big increase.
You've come to the right place.
So we're going to upgrade to a Master Longbow, which will see us through to the rest of the game, and pick up some potions.
You have reached recognized status.
So we can now go to Witchwood, which will be where the next set of quests will be held. And it's actually one of the last areas we'll discover for a little while.
Rumor has it that somewhere in the Witchwood is a sword that only a true hero can acquire. There is a
There's this cutscene and this rock troll, but we don't actually need to fight him, we can just sort of go right past him, he doesn't seem to mind. Which is actually really good because rock trolls have a whole huge amount of defense, so like if you try and do damage to them, they're just going to resist everything and you barely do anything. So this demon door here, if I position myself correctly. Try that again. This guy does not want to clip. Hello? Okay, there we go. We'll pretend that was first try. Normally you're meant to like hit a bunch of stones in the right order to spell out his name, but you can just sort of clip through that and get it first try, just like me.
Thanks to you, I'm sure we can keep him safe. You should return to the guild now. There's an important quest card waiting for you. It seems Knotthole Glade is in some trouble.
So similar to before, we're not going to head back to the guild to get the next quest straight away. We're going to head through all these areas first just to discover them. Oh hey, it's a nymph there. Nymphs are like one of the worst enemies in the game because they are technically the fastest enemy because they can just zip from one side of the map to the other in a second. And they really love to ruin your day. Case in point. Right. So back to the guild, let's just quickly grab our hotbar.
This is the village of Knotthole Glade. It's under attack by Valkyries. Come back to the guild and take the quest to help them.
So we're going to take the quest, and we're also going to just increase our bow skills a little bit, because this is like a major part where we use the bow.
Accuracy allows you to cause more damage in ranged combat.
And the other thing we got was physical shield, which is a super... Oh, almost forgot something. We've also got physical shield, which is a super useful spell because any damage you take will instead be taken out of your will energy, but most importantly it won't actually reduce your combat multiplier at all, so you can tank hits without actually worrying about your multiplier dropping, which is super useful because we want as much XP as we can. Just go kill these Valkyries outside the well, that shot missed. And that one got him first try. Anyone who says otherwise is absolutely lying. Oh. So we just need to zap the white bar in there like 10 times. It doesn't matter with what, it just so happens that lightning is the fastest thing.
That thing's skin is too...
It's actually quite good. There is a small chance the game will crash there, depending on what angle you target him with the lightning, but luckily that didn't happen. I may have set myself up for failure here because I think it was at ESA 17 the game crashed right about here, so here's hoping lightning doesn't strike twice. I think ESA Summer 15 and ESA Summer 16 were the only marathon runs I've had which haven't crashed on me. ESA 17, I think the game crashed twice in places I'd never seen it before, so that wasn't fun. Right, so we're just going to get a little trick shot on this guy. doesn't even suspect it. Right, so that's the White Barbarian dead. By the way, he's like super weak to silver and resistant to everything else, so it's we had to put silver on our bow, which is it's a bit quicker than using it on our sword, especially because we can't augment our sword. But it also stacks on top of each other. So if you have 2 silver augmentations, normally it does triple the damage of silver augmentations, but if you put 2 on, it will do 9 times the damage, which we can do later.
You have reached familiar status.
Cool, so at the guild, we're going to upgrade a whole bunch because the next quest is the arena, which is going to be like 9 minutes of just fighting, so I want to be as powerful as we can. Oh no, we don't want that. Then what we're going to do, we're going to do the same hotshot glitch we did earlier, but with Inflame, which is going to, if I can get it, there. We're going to basically have level 4 Inflame, which is like a massive AoE fire spell, which does a ton of damage, so it's quite good. So another thing is that because we basically bought the upgrade twice, we're actually in minus XP right now. We're at like minus 30,000 or something. But it will just gradually go up over time because we're going to get basically all the rest of our XP for the game in this next map. This guy's going to let us into the arena.
Welcome to the Hall of Heroes.
And starting out, there's basically a minute of waiting just because the guy who's entered the arena needs to sort of like die a little bit. He went in there before us, but he's going to not be living in a little bit because he didn't make it. But it's okay. So this guard here, he's the one who will let us in after that minute timer. So we're just going to give him a little bit of a shove this way. I think I did this for fun during a marathon run, and then we found out it actually saves time, but just because when the cutscene starts, or when the cutscene ends for, hey, you can go in now, he's left right here, so you can just talk to him straight away rather than having to run up the stairs. So it saves like 5 seconds. So you can sort of wedge him into this corner if he wants to cooperate. He's going to be in this corner. He's a little bit grumpy. Every time he moves, his mouth moves with it. This is true speed tech right here. True speed tech. Cool. So that's the arena starting. So we're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff here. The first thing is we have force push, which cancels the animations of like deaths and stuff. But most importantly, it's got a bug where it doesn't actually check if the thing you're pushing is alive or not. So we're essentially pushing the dead bodies on the floor, dealing damage to them, which is increasing our combat multiplier by a whole bunch. So you can see we're almost past our previous best for combat multiplier in like a few seconds. I'm going to just use this throughout the arena because there's a whole bunch of like waiting around for enemies to spawn. We can just do this in the meantime.
He may be new to me. 3, 2, 1, go!
So because we have maxed out on Flame, we're basically doing a hell of a lot of damage right now, and we can also one-hit everything, because it increases the range and the damage as you level it up, so it's just insanely broken.
3, 2, 1, go!
Just gonna wait for these guys to get close.
2, 1, go! That's another 500 gold. 600 gold earned so far. And there's another 1,000 up for grabs in the next round.
So Whisper's gonna be here now, we still don't like her. We're gonna just shove her into this corner, let her do her thing.
Go! 3, 2, 1, go! 3, 2, 1, go!
So there's a white Balverine. He's dead now. We just did like 3k in one hit just because we put like 2 silver augmentations on our bow, so we're doing an absurd amount of damage to it in a very small amount of time.
Let's do so.
So slight volume warning for this. I'm going to basically be spamming summon on 4 different keys at once. And that's basically just because summon has 0 cooldown. It's super cheap, and it gives 3 XP times your multiplier. So in this case, it's giving like 240. I had to quickly figure that one out. 240 XP every time we use it, and because I can set it to multiple keys, it just gives us a hell of a lot of XP every time we use it. Plus, I should probably be inflaming again. Just to make sure everyone's awake.
3, 2, 1, go!
Cool, that's all of them dead.
This is the life.
So the one benefit Whisper has here is that she can skip the announcer's dialogue if you talk to her, which you would think would not be that significant, but it actually saves like probably a good 2 minutes in this whole thing, because the announcer really likes the sound of his own voice.
3, 2, 1, go!
So go deal with the artist first, just because they can do that and drop my shield, which is really bad. I'm very close to disaster there. Because if I had have gotten hit there, I would have dropped all the way from 104 multiplier down to 40, which would have been very not fun. It's just you life.
3, 2, 1, go!
That's all of them dead.
Come on!
Our intrepid hero. 3, 2, 1, go!
So rock trolls are probably the earth trolls are one of the easiest in the whole arena. Then probably one of the more challenging ones up next, which is the rock trolls, just again because of their godly defense.
Come on!
So because of that, we are going to abuse the fact that you can't die in Berserk and you increase damage by standing in these rotor blades, which is actually really risky, which is going to increase our damage a whole bunch, so we can hopefully kill these guys really quickly. Should probably do it. Cool, and he's dead now. So this is sort of the last real boss of the arena, which is the Arachnox, and it is a super terrible boss. He's going to spawn. I'm going to avoid him by standing there. He's going to charge his thing, hopefully not bug out. Cool, he didn't. So there's numerous things that can go wrong here. He can either have like a half animation skip, and then he'll basically, like, he was charging up for an attack there and he'll just attack straight away and it loses like 10 seconds. There is the chance he will burrow up from the ground and then go straight back down again, which loses like 30 seconds. I thought he was going to do it there. It's about to eat my own words. But it seems to be okay. Just a test to make sure everyone's awake. Okay, good.
Come on!
So the last real boss of the arena is Whisper. We can choose to kill her or spare her. Unfortunately, it's a little bit faster to spare her, much to the regret of everyone, but we'll get him next time. So we're going to just let her be, leave the arena. That's Whisper's brother. We're going to see him later. So going to Barrowfields. And a mistake that every single runner, and if anyone says they haven't, they're lying. A mistake everyone will do is that they'll go straight to the guild from the arena at some point in their speedrunning career. It's happened to everyone, and anyone who says it hasn't is lying, because everyone forgets, oh yeah, we need to go to Barrowfields first to be given the quest. So now we go to the guild, for real. And this is going to be the last time we upgrade anything, just because we've got like so much XP we can max out everything we need to. So it's really handy. So the only spell we technically can't max out that we need to is Berserk, but again, using the Hotshot Glitch we can max it out. Because normally you need to be maximum evil to be able to, or like at least very evil to be able to max it out, but we can just sort of ignore that and pretend it. So back in Bowstone South, and they're going to finally let us into the northern part of Bowstone. You can actually get into the... There's only one real way to get into this map early, which is that there's a piece of trash on one side of the map. And if you roll at it the right way, and if the stars are aligned, you can launch up and basically just launch into the map. But it's really slow, so we don't do that. It's also super inconsistent. That's the main thing. Like trying to get it in a run is akin to having your teeth pulled out. So there's a clip I can try, and it saves like 3 seconds if you do it perfectly, and I'm really consistent at it, so obviously I'm going to give it a try.
I'm right behind you.
The minion summoned straight to the barrier.
Actually, no, I can't try it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I deceived you all. I need to get a backup because of the game crash.
The barrier is down. Hurry through to save the archaeologist.
I'm sorry to have broken all of your hearts, but we'll get them next time. There's not another rock troll there we can skip, which again is good, because even though we're super powerful, it would probably take like a good 10 seconds to kill him. In this last map here, this is the last we'll see of the archaeologist, and they're sort of taking him away, and you've got a 5-minute timer. As long as there's no other minions, which are these dudes here, as long as there's none of them nearby, you only need to kill the last two guys on the dock. Everyone else can sort of stay alive, and the game doesn't seem to mind. And it takes roughly about 30 seconds, so if you really wanted to, or like if you're really not sure, you can use slow time there, and it means you basically get it free rather than having to kill everyone. That quest also is probably one of the big sticking points out of any challenge run. It's like trying to beat the game without killing anyone, trying to beat the game while only using like a stick or something. That's usually the one that really tests those categories because of that 5-minute time limit. Like basically no other quest in the game has a hard time limit like that in the main quest, so it can sometimes be pretty interesting. So we're in Litchfield Graveyard, and this is probably one of the worst bits of the game, if not the worst, because it's pure RNG. At least one big part of it, which is absolutely terrible. So for that reason, I mentioned it at ESA, but I'll mention it here as well. There is also a $250 bounty of being able to skip this quest. There's some stuff in the Fable Discord if you're interested in that, and then also a $250 bounty for the next quest. So, oh, like I didn't, like that. So we need to dig up and just find all the pieces of this dead guy's armor in order to be let in. But there's one bit of the run which is an absolute killer, which is fishing. And the way to explain how fishing works in this game is essentially like the devil's version of red light, green light. It's just like super precise and RNG. You can get a good fish, you can get a bad fish, so here's hoping the line doesn't snap. No pressure. This is a bad fish. It's going for the bait. There we go. Hey! I probably would have reset if that was an actual run, but it was super slow. Like if you fail it, just the amount of time taken to retry is about 15 seconds. At the very least, that's if basically the line snaps straight away. If I had snapped like somewhere in the middle there, I would have just wanted to cry myself to sleep. But yeah, the fishing essentially is the main reason we'd want to skip that, because that's the only required instance of fishing in the whole game. And you can see how absolutely terrible it is. In addition to the undead RNG, like because these guys spawn and they just basically keep jumping up in front of you. There's no real way to avoid them. And that guy baited me. So the last bit of RNG in this quest is this bit, the Circle of the Dead. So basically we need to wait for these guys to come in, because they can only be harmed while in the circle. But trying to get them sometimes to follow you is easier than done. Luckily we're pretty well off here. If this guy follows me in, we'll be good, yeah. Cool, there's that quest done. So we're now in the prison. We're now going to start the prison quest, which is a resident sleeper quest for sure. We're going to go and try and rescue our mother, who's been captured by the big bad boss of the game, Jack of Blades. But it was all a ruse, and we're now also in prison. But I'll explain more as and when. But just know that there's also a $250 bounty on this one as well, but that one is less likely to get claimed just because of how, like Lionhead were working on overtime on this quest, because they really, made it bulletproof and there's no way to skip this thing. Like, even testing with mods and stuff for a best case scenario, there is just no way to skip this. Graveyard, on the other hand, is, really, really close to being able to be skipped. Like, we can basically clip in and start the quest halfway through. However, it keeps the quest active, so that means that when you try and leave the map to start the next quest, it's like, oh hey, you're leaving a quest area, you can't do that. But if it wasn't for that, we could probably just skip the whole thing. It'd be great. But again, there's more info in the Fable Discord. I've made a Google Doc with all the stuff we've tried, and all the sequences, all the objectives you need to do. So you can see sort of how many, in theory, objectives could be skipped with each one.
Get him! Intruder! Oh no, you don't!
So we're just ignoring all these guards. These guards are actually one of the few enemies that don't give you any alignment, like good or evil, for killing them. Normally it's like, if you kill a villager or a guard or something, you become evil. If you also, this guy's taking a whiz, but he has also got his sword in his hand, which is a really, really bad idea. Would not recommend that. That can lead to some hazards really quickly. Also, we are in Union Jackbox, so shout outs to QuickCade.
You should keep all that energy for later. You'll need it then.
So yeah, we're going to be stuck in this prison cell for a while, and this bit of the game is why we run the game normally in French, just because they talk faster in French essentially. We tested all the languages, and French is 20 seconds faster than any other language. English, of course, which is the stuff we was running it on, is the slowest, but French is by far the fastest, and I think it's Russian, then German, but a lot of them are really close to each other, within 5 seconds.
Chicken chaser mission. Beat the arena and let the big prize go to save a little whisper, didn't you? Come. What you do? Kill a man, slice up some fruit. Which is worth it.
I guess to elaborate a little bit more on the prison skip, you would think, oh hey, all you need to do is just be able to get out of this cell. But then when you get out of the cell and go outside, the game will think, because basically we're about to do a race where we all race to see who can get the lovely opportunity of listening to the warden read out some poetry. That is not a joke, that is actually what happens. But it's also like, while you're in there, you'll need to sneak and find the key to get out. But as soon as you go out there, the game thinks you're on a race, so it will like lock all the doors so you can't actually escape. And that's even finding a way out. Like, I've tested every best possible case scenario with this, with mods, but it just seems super well built. Like, yeah, fantastic.
Look lively, scum. Time to move out. It's race time, and you'd better put on a good show. Some of us have bet a lot of money on you. Win, and we like you. Lose, and you get around in the torture chamber. That sounds fun. Yes, sounds fun. Let me hear it. You miserable sots.
I also find it incredibly unfair that everyone else gets like shoes and trousers and we're just stuck in our boxes. If there was more time, I probably would have like modded the game so that like the boxes had the QuickCade logo, but I was also quite lazy, so I think the Union Jack is probably enough.
Keep running, scum! Faster! That way! You great big malvern.
I'd also just like to point out how like scary it would be if you're a prisoner and you just see this naked guy like super skinny in his boxers, ball just rolling around at like at the speed of sound, no less. But
Welcome.
you just imagine what it looked like. I wouldn't want to speed up.
The cautionary song of the jail guard. Behold, the ball. The spirit, behold.
So yeah, his poetry is absolutely lovely. But
Spirited
we're gonna
sparrow.
try and get the book. Luckily, this bit isn't RNG. Like, we're always gonna fail it on the first year and then get it on the second year. There is a way to get it first try, but if you fail the race the first time round, you won't actually go to the warden's office, and then just the next time you go there and you win the race, you'll get it first try, which is, you'd think be super slow, but it's only about 10 seconds slower than doing it normally. This bit is normally like known as the P break bit because you don't actually have to control the game at all. You just go take a piss, come back. But the good thing is we have some hair now, which is nice. We also have, I'm not sure if you can see, but we have a beard now. It's very small, but it's also the only instance in the game where you can actually get this beard. Like, it's being fully coded with name and stats and everything, but just nobody sells it at all in the game, apart from here.
Time to move out.
I guess they just didn't include it in any list or something, I don't know. But
some of us have bet a lot of money on you. Win.
We'll also just punch his bare, this steel with our bare knuckles, which probably pretty painful, but the hero doesn't seem to mind.
Let me hear it. Ha ha.
Recycle. Gray is the prettiest color. Oh, gray is the prettiest color. Oh, gray is the prettiest color.
Cool, so we've got the key now so we can escape.
It seems the warden has lost his key.
And because I'm feeling nice, I'll let a few of these guys out. They'll probably die on the way, but it's the thought that counts. So we're going to get all our missing belongings back. Unfortunately, it doesn't re-equip our clothes, so we are going to have to be naked for the rest of the run. Purely for the sake of saving time. So now we're a very red, angry, naked person rolling around. So, I don't think anyone really wants to bother us too much. Oh, one of them's already dead. I think they're both dead already. I think the guards got them. Oh, we got... Nope, they're both dead. Never mind. We tried. That's the important thing. Granted, we could have tried a bit harder, but...
What the hell? Get him! Stop right there!
Yeah, you can see how like little we've actually done in like the last 8 minutes. We've basically gone one way, waited for a few minutes, done a race, done the race again, and then going back out the way we came, which is why there's a $250 bounty on this skip, because it will save like 8-9 minutes or something crazy. So...
Stop right there! Stop right there!
So here's the Kraken. Also, he like missed his cue and he just showed up there when he wasn't meant to. So we just need to kill his tentacles and then his face pops out and then we can just hit him with a bow. This is going to be all dramatic and like spend ages dying. What an attention seeker. Then this barrier's going to disappear. Unfortunately, we can't clip that barrier and skip the quest or anything, though it would be nice.
Your guild seal has been reactivated. Welcome.
Oh, getting stuck on the terrain.
You need to get to the palace gate in the middle of Darkwood. The gate will only open when its hunger for undead souls is sated.
So we're just killing some undead there just to activate this Scar's Gate, which will take us to Hook Coast, and I need to eat this golden carrot, which will open the shops so that we can hopefully buy some potions when they decide they want to open. I might have to do a backup here. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a backup. So let me just quickly dig, which will get me out of Berserk. then I'm just going to sleep in this bed here.
Have a nice day, won't you, sir?
Yep. May have just got caught trying to steal, but we'll pretend that didn't happen. I made this exact same mistake at ESA. It's because I'm not used to this this new route, or like this different route for marathon safety. If the game hadn't crashed at the start, I wouldn't have had to do it. So we're back and our mother's been captured again, also while making very suggestive noises.
Something isn't right here. What? No! No! No!
It's even worse in the French.
You have reached famous status. I have a quest card from your mother. Quickly, come to the map room and speak to me.
We'll just quickly check if there are any potions.
Must be paid for.
You do. I'm going to yoink those.
Jack.
Oh. So we're going to return to Hook Coast and fight Maze, who, oops, is also a traitor. This fight can either go really well or really badly, depending on what way the wind blows. Well, it's actually not really. It's more of a timing thing. But essentially, because he has damage phases, they can be skipped a little bit if you hit him as he's getting up at like the precise moment. So I basically need to knock him down, hit him as he's getting up at the right moment, and sort of hope for the best. Okay. So, knock him down. Cool, so I got the first one, so he's going to skip this phase here. The most important one, though, is if I can get it here, it will avoid him going all the way up into the lighthouse, which is super beneficial. Maybe? I think I just barely didn't get it. Oh, no, I got it. Okay. Nice. I was also super close to choking it right at the end because he also has physical shield as well. So if it had been about 0.5 seconds later, he would have put it up and that would have wasted like 20 seconds. So the world's ending a little bit, all of that jazz. Here's Briro, she'll be important later.
Hero, I must see you.
So basically just going to be going through all the maps and, not all the maps, like some of the maps, failing to stop Jack in his evil deeds. Also the rock troll from like 40 minutes ago is still there, but we can still avoid him.
Greatwood Lake focus site.
Got stuck in the ground there, that's weird.
Jack is at the Hop Cave focus site.
I think at least one of those guys spawned under the ground, but we just sort of managed to go over his head. This is the last map, and then we'll be going back to the guild, and the guild master will be dying a little bit, but it's okay, he'll be fine later. And we'll fight off against Jack of Blades, using the sword that he has spent the last sort of 20 minutes of the game trying to find, which we have got right on our backs, because we clipped into the floor and got it earlier.
Jack's done it.
So this is a whole new way of fighting fire with fire.
Let's get to the Chamber of Fate in the guild.
Oh, there you go. So we go flying up into the air, and this will be the last time we ever use the bow for the whole game, just to hit him once here. And he's dead. So here's our sister, we've saved her, but we also now just kill her. It saves like 1 second. It's not even because like she's like, oh, you can make the choice of either killing me for the sword or like casting it away, and we technically don't need the sword anymore, but it saves like 1 second to kill her, so needs must, you know. We also may have broken the whole rest of the Fable canon for like the next like 3 games, because Teresa is alive in those ones, but she is not anymore.
Skilled assassins to kill you.
So this is the first part of the Lost Chapters part of the game, and it starts off with a puzzle of moons and suns, the old classic. So essentially we have to turn all of these into all moons or all suns. And what I did at the start actually was I blocked, because blocking I guess like resets something and means that we walk faster on these tiles. It was only found very recently. And if I'm lucky, I can, sometimes what you can do is you can actually punch forward and it will like desync your position and you can finish this puzzle a little bit quicker, but it's only like 2 seconds of time save.
I ask only for clemency for me and my fellow prophets.
And the only reason I found that, by the way, was because I did it differently for like 3 years to everyone else. I did it like in a slow way just because I couldn't be bothered to learn the new one. And it was only while I was practicing the new way that I figured out how that worked, and me and KJ Freshie, who's another run of the game, we basically put our heads together and managed to figure out what was going on and how it happened. Because before we were starting off with like doing a roll and it slowed you down in some bits and it was terrible, but like through the space of a few hours you figured out, oh hey, all you need to do is just block, and it's not even like time sensitive, you just have to hold the block key through the cutscene. Yep. So we're going to come up against the most powerful enemy in the game right here, which is these stairs. These stairs are an absolute pain to get up quickly, that is. They're just really finicky. It's probably the toughest bit of movement in the whole game, but we made it up. Thank you. Ignore the fact that I just didn't kill that guy there. Just focus on the stairs.
More some.
So if I'm lucky, I can skip this guy's dying animation, which I didn't. Sometimes, by like, as far as we know, it's pure luck. Sometimes they'll like jump backwards and then they'll just instantly die rather than sort of getting on their knees and like crying to the air and being all dramatic. So now in the Northern Waste, which is where sort of the last few quests will take place, we go face up against an ice troll, which is super annoying because they have like a hard limit on how much damage they can take before they start doing an animation. But unfortunately, the animation in this case is doing this jamming this fist into the ground thing like 13 times. So we just sort of have to wait there. Kill him. And if you're wondering if you can clip through that barrier, you can, but the entrance to into the next map doesn't actually exist until you kill him, which is a massive shame because it would have been really nice to just be able to clip that and never have to worry about him. So here is the last the village of the game, Snowspire. We're only really here for like 20 seconds, and just before we do the next quest, which is Necropolis. And Necropolis is actually pure RNG. Basically, you've got 20 graves in a map, and 3 of them have the stones you're looking for, and they're just shuffled around every time you try it. There is luckily a way to tell which grave is which before, because you have to dig up the graves, rather than having to go through the digging animation on each one. You can basically check the name of the grave and then find the graves you're looking for, but you still have to go to each one and check them. So the perfect God RNG is getting it in the first 3, but that has literally only happened once, and it was ironically while one of the runners Clean Tail was doing a tutorial on how it all works. He just happened to get it. So no. So we've got one of them here. Ideally we would get it before the bridge, but I don't think... Oh, it's maybe possible. We got 2 out of 3. Third one here? No. So it's going to be one of the last 2. There is also a grave up here, which is really hard to read. We call it the unreadable grave just because like you have to be at such a specific angle to be able to read it, but luckily it's not one of those. Any of you? No, it's literally the very last one, so terrible RNG, but we'll get him next time. So that's the animation skip I was talking about before. If I could get it on this guy. No, of course not. On literally the other guy, it was fine, but I didn't need him. But so now it's sort of like a big overarching quest, which is to get the souls of 3 different heroes, and you can either do it the good or the evil way. Before we used to do it in all the evil ways, so we would just kill off all the heroes, so Thunder, Briarrose, and the Guildmaster. But now we don't kill the Guildmaster anymore because of a time save I found, which cuts down on a lot of RNG because you basically had to tank 7 hits and sort of hope that the enemies would hit you and then kill everything, and then there was a skip at the end which could save 10 seconds, but it was super inconsistent. It was just terrible. So here's Thunder. Go give him a little punch. And Thunder is now dead. So he may have just killed off a hero, but it's okay, it's all in the sake of time save. That's probably the biggest time save out of all of them. Because the other one, you basically have to do like the equivalent of like half the arena again. So it's like 5 minutes or something compared to the sort of 10 seconds it takes there. The next one is Bryrose just because she's right here. And her sort of little gimmick is that she spawns copies of herself, which we have to kill off first before we can hit the real Bryrose. So we're just going to force push twice. Oh no, just once apparently. But she does this a few times. And that was a really good fight actually. If you're lucky, like you can actually launch her into the air a little bit with her force push. At one point, like I launched her right up into the air as she was dying. It's pretty funny, but I haven't been able to really recreate it. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a short detour to Litchfield Graveyard, and we're basically going to go halfway through the map, and then teleport just to basically skip a whole bunch of fighting. So just make it to this bridge, and then just head back. So this is the second to last boss fight and the second to last quest, which is just fighting off against Nostro. And Nostro basically, all you have to do is just hit some, kill some undead around him, and then he can be damaged. So hopefully we can get this in one cycle. So just barely got it. Nice. So time is coming up relatively soon, in about a minute or so. We have to fight off against Jack of Blades, who is now a dragon. This fight is either really easy or really hard, depending on how quickly you do it. For the most part, it is actually not a problem, but it's just like, if you screw up, you're going to be there for like a minute instead of just like 20 seconds. Here's the big bad boss. He does unfortunately have like health gates, so we can't just kill him in one go, but he usually plays nice. And he's dead, so time is coming up in just a sec. And time. Thank you. What was the final time? 1:24:30. 33 seconds overestimate. I blame that crash. If I hadn't have crashed, first of all, I wouldn't have had to relaunch the game and everything. But then I also, I would have saved like a minute because it cuts out all the autosaves, the glitch I was going to do. But yeah, that's Fable the Lost Chapters. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the marathon. I can't remember what it is next to. I think it's Dust. But yeah, enjoy that. And yeah, thank you very much.